back to MMA Mobsters, another great card coming up here, but a lot of news as well. And of course, the show is brought to you by cellsaviors.org, Diamine.com, and grapplersclash.com. Make sure that you check out those websites of our sponsors. Again, cellsaviors.org, Diamine.com, and grapplersclash.com. And well, Josh and I both have somehow read each other's minds and landed in libraries to do our shows. I'm in a soundproof room here in my hometown of Bettendorf, Iowa. I'm here for some family stuff, some things going on, and Josh found himself in a library, and they were kind enough to put him in a room by himself where he belongs. But anyway, uh, Josh, you have been walking, which is pretty spectacular considering the injuries you had to your feet and your ankles and everything else. So welcome, Joshua, the Oracle of Odds. Thank you for joining, and tell me about how things are going with your healing.
Things are going well with the healing, sir. And you may have wondered why I got the giggles. Militech has this amazing way of pressing my buttons, and when he needs to get me fired up, he gets me fired up. When he needs to calm me down, he gets me calmed down. So it's an adventure, as always, getting to this library. I'm still at the old folks' home. I'm there for about a week more, and then I go home. So we'll probably have one more library show next week. It's always an adventure, and today the adventure was doing it for myself. Ding, ding, ding. My usual ride or die had a super cool commitment, very fancy thing that she's doing, making a lot of money, and so I had to take care of myself. So I got the Uber, and I have upgraded to this. I look, it's like Planet of the Apes over here. I've upgraded to the walker, and I have these. Let's see if I can even show you. I have these massive moon boots, like straight out of Iron Man. And so I can be semi-independent.
Nice.
So I slowly got myself here, and then I had to get into this room, and Militech is in my ear. He's like, "Let's go, bro. Let's go. We gotta get this show on the road." And that's why I love him. He makes me laugh, he makes me giggle, and he's very good at breaking down fights. Pat, we had an amazing card last week. What did you think about it? And can we have an even better card this week, brother?
Well, I thought it was a pretty exciting card, and it's had a lot of folks from Europe, obviously, some very tough fighters, some hammers. So I thought a great card, and overall, how'd you do on picks? I think we agreed on almost all picks for the most
Yes,
part.
yes, brother. Pat yourself on the back too. It's how did we do on the picks? Because I think we maybe only disagreed on a couple fights, and you beat me on one. I got to give you credit. I was pretty invested, both vocally and financially, in Jan Blachowicz. Navajo Sterling goes to decision. It was minus 150, so it was the favorite. And I laid it out as one of my favorite bets. Thankfully, the Chauvin lock of the week hit. Rebecca hit, so nobody's homeless. Everyone's happy. But another bet that wasn't a lock, but I liked, I was like, this has to go to decision, right? And Pat Militech is like, I don't know, man. Navajo Sterling, even though he's not getting a ton of finishes, the kid can crack. Sure enough, first round. Congrats to you, sir. What did you think of that knockout?
He's just a dangerous kid. I think, and the defensively, his opponent isn't the greatest. And I just thought, the combination, you just have to look at the combination matchups a little bit and realize, Navajo Sterling's a pretty spectacular athlete, quite a bit faster, pretty accurate striker. And I thought that might be the remedy for, potentially an early KO.
I have a question for you, and you see, whenever I throw these on you, you roll with them and usually hit a home run out of the park. Choose a word or two to describe Jan Blachowicz' career, because you mentioned something earlier. You said his opponent wasn't that great, and you're right, but it is kind of crazy. This guy used to be a champion, a defending champion. He won the belt off Glover, defended it against Israel, and then his career seemingly slowly fell apart. If I was to describe Jan Blachowicz' career in one word, it would be roller coaster, and it's been some high highs and some low lows, and I'm not sure we'll ever know how good Jan Blachowicz was, because he was all over the map, brother.
Well, I think, like I was saying, it's a guy with a lot of power. He's obviously a very powerful guy, can hurt people really easily, but defensively, I never thought he was superb in any way. So when you've got a guy like that, you're going to get a guy that naturally is going to have a lot of ups and downs and not a lot of, steady performances, so to speak. So that's really what it comes down, in my humble opinion. Just not great defensively, but a lot of power offensively, can put people away and can also get himself in trouble. So there you go.
And I have to, I guess, briefly pat myself on the back. Choven Lock of the Week. So Choven Locks of the Year are 1-0. That was Max Holloway. And Choven Locks of the Weeks are now 2-0. And I will remind the UFC Hall of Famer Pat and our amazing producer Lee, remind me to always do a Choven Lock of the Week. That'll be my favorite bet, my ATM, the thing I will be betting the heaviest. So we will either be in a very good mood the next show or a very bad mood, but we will do it together. Right, Pat?
There you go. There you go. Yes. All right. So let's go on to news a little bit. Let's talk about, we've got quite a few things to cover here. Alan Nascimento passes away suddenly in his sleep, I believe, mid-30s, superb athlete, in obviously great shape. The toxicology reports came back clean, so no drugs, no alcohol, anything like that. So that's rare, more than rare. That's not normal
Seems to be
for
happening
a
lot
superb
lately.
athlete to just die in his sleep. So, yeah, a lot of soccer players died.
The NASCAR driver
2021,
Kyle Busch, the
2022, heart
NASCAR driver,
problems,
yeah.
things like that. Yeah, it's been happening quite a bit, and one can think what they want, but a lot of people have been having a lot of heart problems, respiratory problems, and other things since 2020, 2021, and all of that. And people can say, "Wow, it's just long COVID, whatever." Um, Everybody intuitively know there's some weird shit going on. I'm not even going to get into it because what I do for a living has been to research human health and performance for a long time, and I'm not going to get into that. Not the right format or place for it, but I think everybody, with one eye and half a brain, knows there's some weird shit happening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well said, Pat. And that's you. You
Yeah,
showed some
yeah.
restraint. You are growing up in your old age, brother. You. But yeah, I think that I would just say R.I.P. to an absolute warrior. It's crazy, Pat. You and I were breaking down this guy's fight, and if you remember, he opened up as like a -800 favorite against the veteran Matt Schnell. He had dropped to like -400. I was like, doesn't the line movement concern you a little bit, Pat? You're like, absolutely not. He's going to roll. He did. Starched him and then hopped on the half conscious body and choked it out. And now he's dead. So I would say, I have one more thing for you, brother. You have taught me so much about eating real food, and that has helped me be happier and healthier. Maybe it's that. If there's one piece of advice you would give to our audience about how to be healthier, how to live long, how to thrive, if you could just give someone one piece of advice, what would it be?
Try to find real food, and real food is, okay, say you're shopping for fruits and vegetables. Look at the little labels on each apple, each pear, each banana. All of it will have PLU codes. Those PLU codes, it'll be a hashtag with a series of numbers. If it doesn't start with a 9, don't fucking eat it. Do your best to not eat fours, things that start with a 4. They're conventionally grown. They're grown with synthetics. And roughly 95% of American food is grown with synthetics. Every cornfield you see, every bean field you see, every wheat field you see, most apple orchards, most orange groves, most of it's all grown with uh, NPK, synthetic nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So that's not real food. No matter what they think in the agriculture industry, it's not real food. So don't eat it. Let it rot. Fuck them. Don't support that system. Start buying real food, and let's it's really about our kids. It's not even about us. At my age, it's not about me anymore. It's absolutely about my kids and their generation and stuff like that. So that's the most important thing is stop supporting shitty false systems. Period. That's the way it is. So, all right.
Yep. You know what
Moving
I'm
on
gonna
to
do? You know what
another
I'm
news
gonna do for
piece.
that, Pat? I'm gonna
Uh,
give you, for that wonderfully said, I'm
well,
going to give you a standing ovation. And for those of you who have been watching, you know
well,
these
thank you,
things
sir.
mean
And
something.
the
That's
fact
due
you can
stopping.
stand is a beautiful thing. That's a
That's
beautiful
due
sight.
stopping. Thank you, brother.
All right. Let's go on to a former champion now driving for Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Uh, Jessica Andrade, she's recovering from a shoulder injury, has been out for a while, and to make extra money, she's driving for Uber Eats. I don't know how this came out or anything. God bless her for having work ethic. Hats off to her. But somebody who, was a champion in the UFC should have enough in the bank to, you know, recover and come back and not have to go drive for Uber Eats. But it is what it is. I mean, what's the state of MMA and at its highest level? Somebody who's a world champion, having to drive for Uber Eats to make extra money. What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard, brother, because so much work went into becoming the world champion, and I bet when she was world champion, she wasn't driving for no Uber Eats. She was more likely to be sponsored by Uber Eats. But I mean, she had a lot of money at some point, and maybe she wishes she would have been a little smarter with that. It's not like you're financially set for life when you become a UFC champion. We have another UFC champion, and Anthony Smith. Well, he fought for a title. He may be working for Uber Eats here soon. I doubt he'll be announcing UFC fights, even though it looks like he may not have to go to prison. But I mean, we may have a couple UFC champions working for Uber Eats. I mean, they do need to pay the fighters more. That I absolutely do agree on. How much more is to be seen, but I think this is obviously not great publicity for the UFC, and I think they will slowly continue to pay their fighters better. It's just going to be a process. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, well, again, hats off to her for having work ethic. So, and maybe she took as much of that money that she got and put it away, and now she's doing that just to make money to live on. So good for
Sure.
her. Either way. All right, so let's talk tickets for UFC 330. Dismal sales. The card not spectacular, to say the least. But there are reportedly thousands and thousands of tickets still available, and fans are, of course, complaining about the prices. All these things. So, my belief, a lot of the time, is when the UFC comes to town, everybody buys tickets, everybody goes because the UFC is in town. The fans are paying attention to who's on the cards. And they're saying it's not worth the money, and they're not buying tickets, and they're not willing to show up for the amount of money they have to spend to go see a UFC, apparently, this time around. So you had some comments about the card. Maybe you could give me a little rundown of some of the talent that's on there.
Yes, sir. So I want you to do something real quick. I'm going to make a mental note to myself. Just we're both on library. You may be a couple seconds behind me, and I don't want to interrupt you. So mental note to Joshua to wait a second or two when Pat's done talking. I want you to do something, brother. I want you to pull up the UFC 330 card. Just Google it or get it on Tapology. Or maybe I'll just do this. I'll tell you the UFC 330 card. This is our main card, Pat. So we start off with Chidi and Jukiani, Joel Alvarez, Abdul Malik, who is a fun 9-1 prospect against Stoltzfus, who does not deserve to be on any main card anywhere. I'm sorry. Edson Barboza, the ghost of Edson Barboza, is fighting Ribovic. Your co-main event is Mackenzie Turn and Jillian Robertson. Your main event is Islam Makachev lying on Ian Gary for 25 minutes and humping his leg. That's why ticket sales are down, brother. That's why ticket sales are down. And I don't want to disparage the fighters. That's the number one thing my brother Pat has taught me. I'm not disparaging the fighters. This is a shit pay-per-view card. I'm sorry. And the main event is going to be Islam laying on Gary and humping his leg for 25 minutes. The main event, and this is bad. It's not great. And the arena is going to be half full, and I understand why. I wouldn't pay for this event.
Yeah, but all they have to do is what they should have done, and which I'm sure they'll do,
There we go.
is just show Mackenzie Dern in a bikini weighing in, and everybody's
Yeah.
going to show up and buy tickets, right?
Just so.
They've tried to get as many miles as they can out of that poor girl. Um, Look, incredible athlete, great fighter, 16-5 overall in the UFC, number one ranked, of course. So she's very good. I called some of her fights back in the day with LFA, but Jalen Turner and Fernandez,
Yes, sir.
I
That's
think it'll be a scrap. I don't want to hold. Njaquani's always been exciting. They're trying to build Joel Alvarez,
these are
obviously.
undercard fights,
Um,
Pat. These should be undercard fights. These aren't main card fights. I don't know, man. Edson Barboza's lost his last 5 fights.
I will agree. The only two fights on the card with people ranked in the top 10 in the world are the last two fights. Everybody else is ranked like 66th in the world, 36th, 30th, 48th, 36th, 22, 46th, so it's not a stellar main UFC level show. So yeah, I live and learn. I guess they're going to live
Yes.
and learn,
Yes. And
right?
I will say, I really
Can't
enjoyed
hit a
that.
home run every time.
Yeah, well said. And I really enjoyed that back and forth where maybe that's why Pat got me gassed up. I enjoy having that friendly debate, and that's what people love to embrace debate. That was great. We have one more news topic, then on to the fights. Or two.
Yeah, the MVP PFL
Yes, sir.
merger, right?
Yeah, and I'll just maybe
What's
I'll
that?
just cover this. And I just wanted to say we don't have to get into it again unless you want to. I want to credit Pat. I think I was fair in saying this is the Anthony Smith headline. It's ugly, but we don't know what happened. And Pat really had his UFC brothers back and said we don't know what happened. And I don't want to put words in Pat's mouth, but he essentially said, I think when more stuff comes out, this will look not as bad and it won't be prison time. And he was exactly right. Looks like there will be some hoops to jump through legally, but it looks like it won't be that bad. And I just wanted to shout out Pat for not rushing to judgment like so many media people love to do and be all clickbaity and cancel culture. Credit to Pat, because it sounds like you got that one right on the head. And we will continue to keep Anthony Smith and his family in our thoughts. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it just seemed like he was just trying to get out of there and trying to get his wife home and all of that stuff. And sometimes females aren't always cooperative.
I've never seen this before. This news to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So okay, yeah, all
PFL,
right. Moving on to
PFL
MVP
merger. Yeah,
PFL merger.
yeah, yeah.
Talk to me. What do you
It's
think?
exciting times, Pat, and it's also necessary. Listen, man, I like to think that I pretty much have my pulse on the finger of MMA culture, as well as being pretty damn good at predicting and betting these fights over the last 10 years or so. I also am a fan, and I'm pretty involved in the Discords and the chat rooms and the Twitters and the Facebook groups. And so I know what people are saying. And right now, people don't care about PFL. And this is sad, Pat. Did you know that Brian Battle was fighting um, Dalton Rasta tonight? It's a great fight. I bet you didn't know they were fighting tonight because I didn't until I just was trying to check something for the UFC fights tomorrow. There's PFL tonight. Brian Battle, huge fan. Dalton Rasta, huge fan. They're fighting each other tonight in PFL and nobody fucking cares. That's why this merger was necessary. What do you think?
I Here's what I'll say is that the MVP card, while it had some big names on it, it was safe to say that it was not going to deliver. Gina Carano against Ronda Rousey. We talked about that. We knew it was going to be about a 30-second fight. It wasn't going to go very long at all. It wasn't going to be competitive. You know, hey, hats off to MVP for putting together some stuff, for absorbing the PFL,
Yes.
which I don't necessarily think that's the best path for them. I'm not going to tell them what to do. They've got a lot of money. They've done things right, obviously, along the way. But I think they need a leader. I think they need a true leader, industry leader in there. No matter who it is, it's got to be somebody who's done a lot in the sport, who's respected. A guy like Scott Coker or whatever, but Coker sounds like obviously has his own thing going, and so ultimately, we'll see what takes place. It's nothing has frustrated me more over the years than to watch people burn through money in somewhat weak attempts to try to be the next UFC. When the people that Pride did it better than anybody. Um, Coker did it incredibly well with Strikeforce and the Showtime Sports Partnership when I used to call fights for Showtime. But ultimately, I think Coker's got the best chance at so.
Yeah, there have been many failed attempts to be the next UFC, and it is very, very difficult, and so many layers of things go into it. I will ask you this, and then we'll get on to the fights for this week, and we're right on time. What will the MMA landscape look like 5 years from now? Will it be the same as now, where it's just the UFC, and then the UFC's here, everyone else is down here? Will it be more balanced? And what do you want it to look like? Have we lost Pat? We may have.
I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm
you're
still
still here.
here.
Okay, I just didn't have you on
Hold
video.
on. Yeah, I am coming back. I just
Yeah, so I'll just kind of keep the space filled. I think that it'll be interesting. What do I want the MMA space to look like? I miss and
check.
Lee, you can't. Yeah, so yeah, I
Are we
miss.
here?
Yeah, we're here, and you're a little bit clear
Okay.
too. Yeah, yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right, good. No. I think Coker's the guy.
Yeah.
Like he can raise something out of the ashes. He's the guy.
Yeah, that's well said. And I'll just say, I miss the Bellator days, man. Back when you first met me, I'd be betting a Bellator card all Friday night and then UFC all Saturday night. And I loved it. I couldn't put as much on Bellator because it was a little more unpredictable, but I definitely found several edges to betting Bellator and really enjoyed it. It was like a more relaxed version of the UFC. So I really miss them. We'll see what it looks like. But the pessimist tells me that it'll be just the UFC and that'll be it. Now we really lost Pat. What do you think, Lee? Do I just keep talking, or do you want to hop in here, or wait for Pat to come back, or what do you think? Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of get into a few of these fights here, and yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, so I'll just kind of intro the fight, and yeah, shout out Beddendorf Library Wi-Fi. I remembered your Wi-Fi being better back in the day. So okay, so we have Carol Foro against Gigi Canuto. Foro opened up at minus 245. She minus 265 now. I guess I will just go with the Foro side. Is this a chick fight goes to decision ATM? Let's put one unit on both. Let's put one unit on 4-0, one unit on fight goes to decision. What is Pat saying? Is Pat coming back, or is he saying anything? Juliana Miller, minus 260 to minus 310. Back to back chick fights. Perfect. Okay, so a little more line movement for Juliana. She moved 15 points. She moved a lot more on Caesar. Caesar's is more tempting. Caesar's is like 90 points of line movement, minus 235 to minus 320. Fuck, I wish Pat was here because I was good. I mean, I more so want to see Pat's reaction to this. But yeah, these female MMA, female UFC line movers have been producing. I know I always say the same thing. Yeah, the line movement looks great. It's tempting. It's far from a sure thing because all this will happen just so they can fight to a close split decision. Um, I tell you what, man, they've been lamping them in the first round. They've been liver shotting them to death. They've been choking them out. They've been delivering, and it has not been a close split decision. It's been get him out of there in the first round, or Fatima McCline went to decision, but has dominated every second of that fight. And I hopped on. I think after the first round, her odds gone from maybe minus 500. She opened at like minus 300. So it looked like a great bet. These female fighters, even when they get really great line movement, it can be frustrating. We're seeing a trend where I've seen enough to call it a trend. I've seen enough sample size to say that it's moving in the right direction. So yeah, I like it. So let's move on. Next, I believe it is her boy Miles.
Oliveira and Miller. Are you on Oliveira and Miller now?
Yeah, I thought you were I thought you were the years
Okay.
clear.
I'm
Okay.
I'm I'm here. I'm back, baby.
All
Um,
right.
Oliveira and Miller, you want to break that one down now?
You go ahead and give me your pick, man, and I'll just wrap up. I covered the first two chick fights, and just to put a bow on it, Pat, I was missing you. And you know me, man, especially since we restarted doing the show, we'll get a female whose line has moved significantly in the UFC. And I'll say the line movement looks great. I have to put a unit on her, but if this was a man, I'd be putting 3 units on her. Just the women tend to fight to closer decisions. They've been proving me wrong, brother. They've been putting chicks out in the first round, choking them out, knocking them out, liver shots from hell. So I'm gonna open her up a little bit, and I'm gonna start putting more money on these female line movers because there's a heavy trend of them coming through lately. What do you think about that?
You know what they say about spending money on women?
I can't wait for this.
Oh boy. Oh boy. One way or another, look, one way or another, they're going to get your money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Preach,
No,
preach.
not disrespecting female fighters at
Of
all.
course.
I see Canuto at 7-1 in the LFA, 4-0 is 1-0 in Contender Series, 9-1 overall. Look, I mean, the way I'm looking at it, Canuto's got the edge on the ground, most certainly. 4-0's definitely got the advantage standing up. What are they going to do? Where's it going to end up? Where's the fight going to take place? That tells me a lot. Both 4-1 in their last 5. Canuto has fought way tougher quality opponents. So that makes me lean towards Gigi Canuto. And so that's where I'm at, bro.
Let's freaking go. And we'll see what we do with the in between time, Lee. Maybe we cut that and maybe we'll see. Pat, you talked me into it, brother, because over here on Caesars, or sorry, Bet Rivers, 4-0 was minus 300. She's now minus 265. There's a few sharp betters out there on the same wavelength as you, Pat. Gigi Canuto has absolutely had a harder strength of schedule. In the next fight, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. In the next fight, I like the favorite to roll. Give me the female underdog here. Half a unit, Gigi Canuto. Let's go.
All right, let's roll the dice on that one, buddy. All right, Juliana Miller against Ravina Oliveira. Oliveira 0-3, still looking for her first win in the UFC. I mean, Miller's 4-4 overall. Oliveira's 7-4 overall. And again, I say 0-3 in the UFC. We're looking for her first win. They both fought opponents for the most part that actually were above their level, especially of late. You know, more experience, tougher quality of opponents. Of course, you'll go into the UFC, that's going to happen. But I don't know. What do you see happening in this fight between these two?
Yeah, Pat. So I'm looking forward to chatting about this with you. There's been some interesting things happening in UFC women's MMA. You know me, we'll get a big line mover like Juliana Miller, for instance. Open up at minus 230 on Caesar. She's minus 320 now, Pat. If this was a guy, I'd be 3 units. Give it to me. These female fighters must be doing some progressing because we've seen the past several months, especially. I don't think a big female favorite UFC fighter has lost in the women's division, especially when they get good line movement. It's a trend. A trend is not just something randomly happens. Oh, this is the way things are. The sky is purple or green now. No, but when you see it significantly over time, now it's catching my attention. I'm going to open up the bankroll. I'm going to put 2 units on Juliana Miller. Don't let me down.
So let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
I want to find out here. Did Juliana Miller go into the UFC with a record of 2-1?
I believe so.
How does that happen?
I think she had some. I think she had 5 or 6 AMI fights, but yeah, pro record was 2-1.
Yeah. All right. I don't get it. Ranked 24th in the world at 4-4 overall.
Yeah,
I how thin is the female competition at that?
very, very.
I mean, it's crazy. Like it makes me want to train my 2 adult daughters how to fight and go win UFC titles because I could fucking do it. I'm pretty sure.
You should. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Not
not.
to be cocky, but I'm just being honest here, bro.
No, you could. You absolutely could. Yeah.
I take my daughters in there and friggin' turn them loose, and they knock shit out of some people.
Have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a hammer.
That's a
She's
hammer.
a hammer. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Moving on to the next fight. Johnny Vasquez, 0-1 in the UFC against, honestly, Miles Johns and his brother. I really like those guys. I called their fights, back in the day. Um, Miles Johns is 6-5 in the UFC, ranked 42nd in the world, 15-5 overall. Great, dude. That's a really good record overall, and 14-5 for Vasquez. Vasquez, obviously pretty good in the striking area. Um, Fights fairly close on the ground, although I think Johns has the wrestling advantage. What's your kind of gut feel on this fight between these two guys?
Yeah, you pretty much summed up my thoughts. Two respected veterans. It's a good matchmaking by the UFC. Not every fight has to be the young prospect against the aging veteran. We can just have two mid-level veterans bang it out. Two guys that we respect and they respect each other. These fights are great, and it should be close. So I do kind of like Fight Goes. That's probably my favorite fight of this bet. Miles Johns is tough and doesn't have the pop like he used to, so he's usually a pretty safe Fight Goes bet. So I like Fight Goes. Let's put a unit and a half maybe on that, and then slight lean more like a half unit on Miles Johns. He's getting the slight line movement, but yeah, both guys are respected veterans, so should be a fun fight. Let's hope it goes all 15 minutes.
Brilliant call on going the distance because out of the 19 fights for Vasquez, 9 have gone the distance, and for Miles Johns, out of 20 professional fights, 11 have gone the distance. So yeah, you're definitely playing the odds on that one, smart man.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, moving on to Souza and Richie Miranda. Richie Miranda, 10-1 in the UFC, or sorry, LFA. So somebody that fought that much in the LFA has fought some fairly tough people. Although somehow in the LFA, I looked at his quality of opponents, and they're about on a 1 to 10 scale, about a 4 to 5.
Mhm.
I don't I don't know who was building his record there. I don't know what the mission was. Obviously, there was a mission to get him into the UFC, but he's 13-1 overall, going against Sousa, who's 14-1, and 1-0 in the UFC for Sousa, who I'm guessing the odds have to lean towards Sousa on this.
Yeah, pretty heavily, and some movement here too. Pat opens up at minus 260 on Bet River Sportsbook. He's minus 315 now. That gets my attention. It's not setting off alarms, but it gets my attention. Similar story on Caesar Sportsbook, minus 270 to minus 320. So yeah, it paints a picture
Okay.
that Manuel Sousa should be the better man everywhere here. It's far from. I don't think it's the lock of the week, but I do like Sousa. Let's put 2 units on him. I think it's safe just to win. Don't care how he does it. Minus 320 looks like a fair price.
I like it, dude. I like it. Okay. Sutherland against Monanya. Is that how I say the last name? Monanya?
I thought it was Montana, but close enough.
Is there a T in there?
There is Montana.
Oh, I didn't see the T. Apparently, I didn't write it.
Say Montana.
Okay. All right. Montanya looking for, well, it's his UFC debut against 1-2 in the UFC. Lou Sutherland, 11-5 overall. I I mean, quality of opponents for Jose has been big fucking 0 out of 10, a 0, and Sutherland, about mid-level opponent. So just that alone, I have to lean towards Sutherland. I have to.
Yeah, Louis Sutherland gets my attention when I hear that name. I had a pretty healthy bet on Tai Tuivasa because surely, after 7 or 8 straight losses in the UFC, Tai Tuivasa at home in Sydney, he can beat Louis Sutherland, right? Nope. Louis Sutherland beat him and probably won won the vast majority of the fight. and took Tai Tuivasa to decision that not many have done, beat him pretty easily. And then it was like a movie, Pat. He's getting booed by all these Australian fans, and it zooms in on his face, and he just goes, "Oi, fuck off." And it was like something out of a movie. He is very much the Welshman that he says he is, and he can fight a little bit. So he surprised us by turning back Tai Tuivasa, but should we be that impressed? Because everyone beats Tai Tuivasa these days. The line movement likes him. Minus 162, minus 182. I'm going to go a unit and a half on him. I'm not that impressed with Montana. I think there's a chance Louis Sutherland is a UFC fighter. I don't think Montana is. Unit and a half. Be careful with the heavyweights. One punch can change everything. Give me a unit and a half on the big boy, Louis Sutherland.
All right, I like it. Okay, Nergoze versus Lopez. Lopez ranked 37th in the world. Nergoze 36th, both 1 and 2 in the UFC. You know, they both have some power standing up. I think Lopez is better on the ground overall. I'm leaning a little bit, Nergoze a little bit on this one. But it's kind of a toss up, isn't it?
Yeah, I swear the way that you can reflect this line movement is a little astounding at times. So yeah, that's exactly what the sports bettors are doing, man. One sports book, DR is about minus 150 standard on every book. On some books, he's gone up 10 points. Some books, he's gone down 10 points. Everyone's torn on this fight, Pat. There's not significant money coming in on either direction. Same with you. I'm going to lean Dyer by a hair. I will say that Bruno Lopez gets much worse the longer the fight goes on. So maybe if we see a second round or even a late first round, might be worth hitting Dyer for a little live bet. But yep, you nailed it. Going to lean Dyer at minus 150 slightly. That's all.
So you're saying if it gets mid-second round, mortgage the house.
No. I am saying maybe like a 1 unit bet at that point.
Okay. All right.
This is a hard fight. A good matchmaking. Good matchmaking.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. All right. Moving on to Guilherme Pat against Stephen Asplund. Asplund 4-1 in the LFA, 1-1 in the UFC. Guilherme Pat got a little bit of reach on him. I mean, he's tall, lanky, rangy, dangerous fighter. Pretty good, solid striker. Never been finished on the ground or on his feet. What say you, Oracle?
I'm tempted to make this the Chauvin lock of the week just because it would probably go viral. I mean, this guy's a freaking story. I mean, he literally was 600 pounds, and to top it all off, he lived in my old neighborhood in Columbia Heights. I've had beers with this guy when he was 600 pounds, and I didn't even realize it until my ride or die mentioned it to me the other day. So he's a wonderful story. He ain't 600 pounds anymore. He got into shape by fighting. They'll make a movie out of his life someday. Maybe the only downside is he literally has curtains now where massive amounts of arm fat used to be. And so when he's mostly naked in the octagon, it can be quite the sight. He owns it. He's like, I'm the ugliest motherfucker alive, and I just whooped your ass. So he's definitely got kind of some of that Josh Hockett energy to him, and he's fun. He's a fun new heavyweight. Oh, he's fast, Pat. I don't know. There's something about these muscles that carry around 600 pounds their whole life, and now they're free and they can move and they're fast and they're strong. So he can hit you. He has volume. He has endurance. I've seen him go into third rounds for a heavyweight. This Steve Asplund guy, Columbia Heights, Minnesota, stand up. I'm going to have a big bet on him. Do you share the confidence that I do?
So you don't think Guilherme's reach and height and some of that's going to give him problems at all?
No, because Asplund moves like a lightweight, man. He'll be in and out, cutting ankles, and yeah, Pat Guilherme has a reach, but when I watch him on tape, I just think Asplund will be so much faster. Just tag it and it will.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a great appraisal and great assessment of both of these guys. And
where it might be, I'm gonna build a little suspense, but
Asplund has faced much tougher quality opponents. So there's that for sure. So all right, I'll go with you on Asplund for sure on that. All right, moving on to Ty Miller, a 6'2", 170 pounder. This boy is tall and rangy as well against Billy Ray Golf. Billy Ray's at 1-2 in the UFC, 1-0 Miller is undefeated in the UFC and undefeated overall as well.
Yeah, we got Billy Ray Goff and Tommy Lee McMillan. So all these weird rock star nicknames coming to the UFC now. And Tommy Lee McMillan can fight. I'm not so sure about Billy Ray Goff. Ty Miller may very well be the lock of the week. Minus 300 to minus 420. Shout out 420. Let's look. What did he do on Caesars? Same exact freaking thing. Minus 290 to minus 420. Identical line movement across two sports books whose line movement I really respect. Yeah, Ty Miller is fun, man. He's a ball of pent up energy waiting to explode, but he also has shown positive cage IQ. He's shown some endurance. I think he's got Billy Ray Goff every way from here to Sunday. Give me Ty Miller, 3 units. It's one of my favorite bets of the week so far. If you want to have some freaking fun, Pat, parlay Steve Asplund and Ty Miller. Their fights are back to back. I think that will be a very happy, a very exciting, and a very financially blessing hour for you betting those two, parlaying those two winners back to back.
All right, you'll put your name on it, your reputation.
This week's reputation, but every week's a new week, man. You gotta win their love back every week. So for this
I get
week,
it.
my reputation is on that parlay.
All
Asplund,
right.
Ty Miller. Let's
I
go.
like it. Yeah, I like it. Ty Miller is talented, dangerous guy, undefeated, and has some really good striking. So it should be a pretty exciting fight, actually. So, all right, Tayanera against Lemos. Lemos number 11 in the world. Tayanera Alexia number 13 in the world. She's 3-0 in the UFC. Lemos 9-6 in the UFC. She's had a lot of her career has been spent there at 15-6 overall. One's got the advantage standing up, in my humble opinion, and one has a big advantage on the ground. I think that Lemos gets it done standing up. Most certainly, she better. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I never thought that the female Darren Till would have turned into this and walk with me through the desert here, Pat. That's what Amanda Lemos was. She was an incredible striker, insane power for a female, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. She's Darren Till. She had no takedown defense. So she would lamp all these, probably didn't belong to the UFC anyway, women, and put on her own highlight reel anytime she faced anyone who could wrestle like a Zhang Wei Li. Zhang Wei Li embarrassed her. Good for her for finally getting her title shot, but just did whatever she wanted with her for 25 minutes. But Amanda Lamos has worked on the wrestling enough that she's now the gatekeeper. If you want to be champion, you got to get through Amanda Lemos. I like it. Good for her. She's become a gatekeeper. Who knew? She plays the role of gatekeeper here once again against Alexia Tainara. I think Tainara is good enough and she's well balanced enough that she'll try some wrestling. If that doesn't work, she can hang with her striking. A lot of these girls is if you can take her down, then you've won the fight. If you can't, get ready to be knocked out. Tainara, I think, has backup plans and different paths of one of the more well-rounded, well-trained women Lemos has had to
Okay.
fight. And I think Lemos getting a little bit older will lose here.
All right. So, Tainara, do you think she's able to finish on the ground, get a submission?
I don't. Lemos is fairly difficult to finish. You just lay on her the whole fight. So no, I wouldn't say that. I just like her to win at -260. Let's put a unit and a half on it. Tainara.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. I agree. I think Tainara might actually get a finish in that one. Third round, probably, maybe if it's going to happen, but it's potential. Anyway. All right. Deval against Darren Elkins. I think Elkins decided that this is his retirement fight. Good for him. Tough guy, man. He's had a million fights, in the UFC. What is he? What's he had? Almost 30 fights in the UFC?
Yes, yes, and 30 wars. I don't think he's had a single boring fight. Every fight, he's left a piece of himself in that octagon.
So, Deval, I mean, are they giving Elkins kind of a going away present here with him?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing, Pat. And once again, I love this with you introducing the fights because it's crazy how you just pretty much are setting me up to say what I already think. What the fuck is this? Like, give Darren Elkins another veteran or some young kid, what? Maybe I don't know. It's at this point, Yadier Del Valle does not deserve to be a -800 favorite against anyone. I mean, it's just put any name there
Well, it's the
against Darren.
quality of. He's got a
Against,
great record, but his quality of opponents are not that good.
yeah, and I think it's just put anyone's against Darren Elkins, and they're going to be a minus 800 favorite. So, yeah, so the line movement's interesting. It has been stale. You know, he opened up at minus 700. He's like minus 750 now. He's not in that illustrious minus 1,000 or higher territory. I don't want to disrespect Darren Elkins. He has looked like such a shell of himself, but this line's higher than it should be. I still think Vale wins, but the line's higher than it should be. That's all.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying Elkins is gonna win, but I do hope he wins so he goes out
Oh yeah.
with the W, beating a guy that's 10-1, who's not really. He just hasn't faced that tough quality of opponents, in my humble opinion, to be this high up on the card. So
Yeah, and Lee's pointing out there was some weird movement on Bet Rivers. I believe that is an error on the fight ad software. I thought the same thing. And I'll just say this, then we'll move on to our last two fights. Rarely when people say this is my retirement fight, that's usually an automatic L, unless your name is Cub Swanson or your protege, Robbie Lawler. So it's not an automatic L just because it's your retirement fight, but maybe 90% of the time it is. Does that make sense?
sure, yeah,
All
yeah.
right, what's our co-main, brother?
All right, Quarantillo versus Ferreira for 38th in the world lightweight. Um, Quarantillo is 64th in the world featherweight, 6-5 in the UFC, 10-7 for Ferreira in the UFC. Both guys face pretty good quality opponents. What say you, bud?
This is a weird card, Pat. I don't. This is our co-main. Just make Darren Elkins going away part of the co-main. I don't know. I'm grumbling like an old man. Diego Fiera is going to be my lean, minus 160 to minus 190. Was a real big fan of Diego Fiera 5 or 6 years ago. He absolutely melted Anthony Pettis. He beat our boy Rebecca in a crazy back and forth like 2 years ago. So has potential. Billy Q's whole thing is I'm going to let you beat me up in the first round, and then I'm going to come back like the hand of God. And I don't. It's part of it's the fighter A got so tired beating up Billy Quarantillo. Part of it is he seems to like getting beat up. It wakens up something in him. When you're at the top level in the UFC, you can only play that game for so long. I don't know. I'm going to lean Fiera, but could the whole Billy Q rises from the dead in the second round, and Diego Fiera's like, what the frick? I have nothing left. I can see that happening. What do you think happens?
Well, but Billy Q's moving up from featherweight to lightweight,
Mhm.
correct? So
Sure. 10
going
pound.
up into the heavier punchers. Um, Billy Q has gotten KO'd 3 times at the smaller weight division.
I like where you're
So
going. Yeah.
we got to kind of look at that a little bit.
No.
And Ferreira got pretty decent power, good subs, unbeaten on the ground, seven victories via sub. I'm leaning towards Ferreira a little bit in this one.
I have a funny story for you, Pat, and I think it was in the in between of when we weren't doing the show, and I missed doing these breakdowns with you. It was Billy Q against Edson Barboza, and he was a huge line mover, like plus 120 to like minus 200. So crazy line mover. You knew I was all over it. He's fighting Edson Barboza, right? Edson Barboza doesn't look like himself. Edson Barboza, this was in like 2023, 2024, maybe. Edson Barboza clips him with a flying knee. Billy Quarantillo collapses to the floor, and everyone's just staring at their TV like, well, shit. I guess there will be no second round comeback because Billy Q might be dead. So that's exactly what could happen against the heavier hitters, right?
Sure, 100%. All right, moving on. Main event: Salkilld versus Gamrot. Gamrot, number 11 in the world, against Salkilld, number 14. Salkild's undefeated in the UFC, 5-0, 12-1 overall, 26-4 overall for Gamrot. He's got more experience. He's got good KO power, very good on the ground, pretty well-rounded guy, and he can go the distance and come out on top, most likely 12-3 in decisions. So, and dude, I got to be honest with you, the quality of opponents for Gamrot seem way higher, way higher.
Yeah, and a lot of that is playing devil's advocate, and I just want to shout out Lee, our amazing producer. And you don't see him, but our cheerleader in the background lets us know when our energy is good, lets us know to pick it up. We don't deserve you, Lee. Thank you so much, brother. So, Salkilld, he's freaking fun, dude. Not only is he 5-0 in the UFC, Pat, guess who's bet on Quinlan Salkilld heavily in every UFC fight? He's got 10 fingers and 2 halfway working feet. His name is Joshua Chauvin. There's easily a few, I don't mean to brag, but there's a few extra thousand in my bank account because of this kid. So here's what I like about him, Pat. Even he's not just lamping everyone in the first round and just, he's also lamping pretty good fighters. These aren't no names. This is Nasrat Hakparas. This kid was supposed to fight for a title a few years ago. Like, these aren't nobodies. And then he's taken guys like Jack Jenkins, his fellow Australian, down. He's showing off. This kid was a jiu-jitsu ace. No one even knew about his striking. And now he's now so more known for his striking. Gamrot's tough, but we just saw Dan Hooker beat Gamrot. If you lamp him, Gamrot hasn't won a single fight where he's gotten knocked down. He hasn't come back and win. Show me. It's just anytime he gets clipped, he just isn't confident for the rest of the fight. I think that we see Salkilld become a title contender here. I know that the line movement's scared. I'm scared too. It's a big step up in competition, but everything I see with Quinlan Salkilld, then I will throw it to you, brother. This kid ain't going to melt under the bright lights. And if we get into a third or fourth round, Salkilld will still be dominating. I have a lot of confidence in this kid. Let's put a solid 2.5 units on him, minus 140. He will win somehow, probably by finish. I like him. What do you think?
Man, I mean, I have to be honest. My gut's telling me Gamrot still got
Good.
game. He's
Good.
26. I mean, he's 26-4. Yeah, he's 3-2 in his last 5. But dude, the quality of opponents he's faced are way better.
Yep.
Way better, in my humble opinion. So I'm just going to lean towards Gamrot just for the fun of it, just to pick something different than you. And I say Gamrot wins by decision. That's my pick for the free cell saviors and Diamine clothing. For what are you saying Salkilld wins by decision? What are you thinking?
Yeah, let me look at it. And here, and I'll just throw it back to you. And I would love to build more of this respectful debating with us. You and I both know that we love each other. We can handle some back and forth. I'll just say this, Pat. Of course, his record is going to be more impressive. Salkilld just got in the UFC. You know, they're not going to give him Arman Sarukian in his first UFC fight. So Gamrot has had more of an opportunity to build up strength of schedule. That's not necessarily Salkild's fault, but you're right. Gamrot is way, way, way more battle tested. Salkilld just hasn't had the opportunity to be battle tested, but here we go. Fair enough.
Dude.
Is that a respectful debate, or you want to kick my ass now?
No. I think Salkilld being brought into the UFC. I mean, tell that to the kid from Providence, Rhode Island, that had to fight Shane on his first fight. You know, what? Now I can't pull up the kid's name out of my.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Dude, that kid, like that was almost a homicide. That was such a brutal. And I knew
Chris Moutinho.
Yeah, Chris Moutinho. I thought the minute they pulled him up to fight Shane, I thought, dude, they're trying to get this kid killed. Like literally, I said that right away because I called Moutinho's fight, one of his fights or two of them, over in Rhode Island, working for LFA or Access TV, whatever. But I thought they're trying to kill this fucking poor kid, and they almost got him killed. They actually almost accomplished doing it. So Salkilld getting an easy road. Listen, soft roads, when the road gets hard all of a sudden with a guy that's 26-4, shit can go sideways real quick, in my humble opinion. So I'm just going to go with Gamrot, just gut instinct and quality of opponents, and his overall record is, dude, 26-4 is no joke.
Yeah.
You know, it really isn't.
Not. And let's not leave out, yes, it was a very close split decision. Gamrot is the only person to beat Arman Sarukian, I'm pretty sure. Like, that ain't for nothing.
Yeah, right.
Kind of a big deal.
He's a tough dude, man.
He's a tough dude. And then, I will do the sign off, and I'll think if I have anything else.
Okay. Everybody, thanks for joining MMA Mobsters. Remember to like, share, and subscribe on all of our YouTube, our Instagram, our Facebook pages. Please help us out, share it, get the news out to everybody. And remember, if you want to pick the winner, the way it ends, the winner, and the way it ends in the round of the main event, you can win some Cell Saviors and Diamine clothing. We'd love to send some free shit out to everybody. And Josh, yeah, anything else you'd like to close out with?
Well, I'll just say this, Pat. Promoters aren't what they used to be. Back to the Monty Cox days where they actually cared about their fighters. You were talking about Chris Moutinho. Not only did Sean O'Malley absolutely batter him, Chris Moutinho's manager directly after the fight said that was an early stoppage. We demand an immediate rematch. So apparently, we need some better promoters out there, Pat. Men of honor, not people who are going to get these kids killed. How's that for a sign off?
Yeah, and I was sorry, I was saying Shane instead of Sean. So all right, for my co-host, the Chauvin one, Joshua Chauvin, who is healing up quite well. I am Pat Militich, former UFC champ, UFC Hall of Famer, saying so long and good luck to everybody out there.
Ah.